Hey everybody, welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. Today we're going to be doing a movie review. We're going to be talking about Hellboy. That's right everybody, thanks for joining us here at Pop Culture Philosophers. I am Rockin Robbie Billups. This is...
Jelani Bullard.
This is...
Brooks
the Magnificent. Magnificent you are for checking out this video. Today we're going to be talking about Hellboy. The 2019 reboot, I guess. I guess it's a reboot, right? Yeah, all the they twist up the origin just a little bit. They do it like a new thing. It's a reboot of Hellboy, starring David Harbour. It's directed by Neil Marshall, who did The Descent, which a lot of horror fans like for some reason. I'm not one of them.
That's the one with the golem things in the cave.
It's the cave monsters.
Yes, it is. It would, yeah. I think it's a little overrated. Anyway, we're talking about Hellboy tonight. I love Mike Mignola. I love Hellboy. Hellboy is my favorite new comic book character of the last 30 years. Maybe 40. Like he's seriously... Hellboy is one of my favorite comic books ever. It's a great comic book. Mike Mignola is my favorite artist. He's up there with Jack Kirby. Like, to me, he's just an exceptional talent in the comic book industry. So I'm super pumped to see this Hellboy film, and I was severely let down, very disappointed. I felt like this film was a little miscast, a little just like, it's like unrequited love, this movie. You know, like there's so much that could have been. They're adapting a new part of the story that is more recent, that's more fresh, like lots of fun stuff, but like ultimately, I think this story should have been part 3 of the Del Toro series, because I don't think Marshall has the subtleness. I don't think he has the artistry. It made me really want to go back and watch Guillermo del Toro's Hellboy 1. Like, for real, with Ron Perlman. Like, David Harbour does a great job. All the actors do a great job, but it's just a terrible script. It doesn't come across fun at all. It's like the whole point of this movie, the only thing they get out of Hellboy is that it's horror, and it seems like to the creators of this film, all that means is gore and a lot of F-bombs. And I'm not against gore or F-bombs, but neither of them were clever. Neither of them were like utilized in a new, exciting way. In fact, the gore was incredibly overly CGI'd and looked really false and video game-esque to me. Ultimately, I do not like this movie. I do not encourage you to watch it. I would only encourage you to watch it if you want to support creator-owned comics getting movies, because it is a cool idea, because Mike Mignola gets money off of this. Not Marvel, not DC, nothing like that. We do need to support creator-owned comics being, you know, like we need to support those movies, right? Yeah. But man, this is not the movie to launch that support. Jelani, overall, spoiler-free, what'd you think about Hellboy?
Oh man, we need spoilers for this because it's trash.
We'll get to spoilers later, but just overall.
Trash. It is.
To the person watching this video going, do I need to watch this movie? What would you say?
No, don't watch this movie. Don't even attempt it. If you watch the Guillermo del Toro movies, I don't know, those movies had the feel of what that Hellboy comic is. It gives you everything. This movie, first of all, is rushed. The pacing is terrible. Like, it's all over the place. Like, especially the tone. The tone is all over the place.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
You don't know if it's a comedy for a minute or a horror the second. You can't tell. The CGI is the worst thing about this movie other than the script. The CGI is childish. It's worse than Justice League. And that's saying a lot. That's saying a lot.
I like them red skies in Justice League, though.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I like about that film is the red skies.
It just runs it to death. And there's too much going on that you don't understand characters' motivations. Like, you don't know how certain people get to where they need to go. There's a part in this movie where Hellboy needs to be helped and he's saved. But how did the person that saved him know where he was? Yeah. It's just in this little things. Like, there's this club that's involved in this movie. Now, I'm not trying to spoil anything, but it's a club that like hunts things, and they hunt well, and they know the BPRD.
Quite a wild hunt.
It's a wild hunt. So that was played up to have a very anticlimactic ending. It was just too much work for what they were trying to do. It was just a mishmash of nonsense.
Yeah.
On top of horrible, like, Mummy Returns, Scorpion King CGI. Towards the last scene,
I thought that the Mummy Returns Scorpion King CGI was way better than some of the CGI. Now, some of the CGI works for me in this film.
Yeah.
Some of it.
But
I really like the giant fight. It kind of works. But there are bits of it that just...
It looks like it's animated on a PC, like it's a PC game.
Speaking of looking like they're animated on a PC game, Brooks, what do you think about Hellboy overall? No spoilers.
I thought it was alright.
Okay, tell us why.
Well, like...
Because for Brooks, alright is...
Yeah, it's a very average movie to me, you know. I don't think it was bad. It didn't bore me or insult my intelligence.
Okay.
Well, for the most part. It was kind of.
It wasn't very boring.
It kind of did rely a lot on the excessive language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're R-rated, bro.
Kind of unnecessary at times. It seems like they're kind of overdoing it. But, it didn't bother me too much. And, another thing, the CGI I did notice was kind of bad.
He never talks about bad CGI.
Yeah, it's very rare for me to, actually notice that.
Yeah.
But, I did notice that there were certain ones.
Yeah, it's noticeable.
It looks like something from Doom. Like
the
Doom
Rock's
original.
Doom.
I'm talking about the video game.
The video game. It's just blocks.
It's got a lot of it's not quite modern music, but music that dates the film. So anyway, overall, it doesn't seem like we have a lot of good things to say about it. We definitely would say that this is something to watch when it's on Netflix or on Hulu or whatever streaming service. If it happens to wind up on your streaming service that you pay for,
you pay for
and you're free that night. And you don't have anything important to do.
And you got some house cleaning. Maybe
you've already cleaned your house.
Yeah.
Maybe you're like, well, I have nothing else to do. Check out this movie. Now we're getting into spoiler territory. So from this point forward, we're spoiling the movie. Man, this movie. Okay, first of all, way to cheapen the origin and Rasputin.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I appreciate that you throw in Lobster Johnson in this film.
Yeah,
and Brooks, apparently I was wrong. There were 2 post-credit sequences.
Oh, really?
The first one is Hellboy mourning over the grave of Professor Broom, and the ghost of Lobster Johnson shows up. And the other one is the Baba Yaga talking to a mysterious dark figure that we never see, saying that she's going to get her revenge on Hellboy.
Okay.
So, yeah. But seriously, Brooks, I didn't think there were going to be post-credit sequences, and I didn't care if there were, dude. At that point, I was so ready to leave the movie. I thought this movie's really bad, and I hate to say it, because I really want to support a Mike Mignola project. I really do. But Guillermo del Toro completely understands the nuance, the subtlety, the atmospheric tone that is inherent to something like Hellboy.
The actual practical effects that you could have made for this movie.
Hellboy, the comic book, is a slow-paced but very action-oriented at times, and the character of Hellboy was perfectly portrayed by David Harbour to me.
His costume looked great as well.
Great. Looked fine.
He's fine.
The only thing I didn't like was the long hair.
Yeah.
Like, why not
this?
He's got like
in a ponytail.
Because to me, Hellboy's got this like samurai knot almost in a way. He's like kind of like it's not a man bun. It's a hell bun, right? But he's always had that. I really like it. But
he looks good when he had the horns all the way out.
He doesn't look as big as Ron Perlman, even though he physically got bigger than Ron Perlman, right?
He's imposing.
Harbour is fine in this movie for me. But it's got some miscasting. Ian McShane as Professor Broom, totally miscast. I have learned, as much as I love Ian McShane, all he does is Swearingen swagger.
Yeah.
And he brought that to Broom, and Broom is completely not that character.
Yeah.
Right? In the books, right?
He's more of a scholar.
Yes.
And this one he's more of like a field agent, I guess.
And I didn't
he does feel like a field agent.
Yes, and he's got that whole like... like, I don't care, and like, if he sent, you were talking about the club of the Club of Osiris,
Osiris Club. If they were hunting giants,
if that happened in the comic books, which it did, but after Broom died, so it does reference a lot of stuff from the Hellboy books, but the Iron Shoes, the Wild Hunt. It in fact spoils the entire ending of Hellboy, which is the fact that he lifts the Excalibur because he is of the bloodline of Arthur, which Brooks hadn't even got to that part in the comic books yet, and I feel bad for Brooks because now it's spoiled in the least most like exciting fashion. Anyway, they really like throw so much into this movie.
Yeah.
This feels to me the Hellboy equivalent of the Amazing Spider-Man. Oh, we don't want to completely lean into this kind of classically respected film that came before,
right?
But we're gonna make it edgy and hip and cool
for no reason.
Yeah, I'm surprised we didn't see Hellboy skateboarding through the halls of a high school.
Don't have a cow, man.
Don't have a cow, man. Anyway, overall, spoilerific now. What'd you think about David Harbour in the movie?
I like David Harbour. He's a competent Hellboy.
Yeah.
He's got great acting chops, so I love him in Stranger Things.
Yes,
so
we love Stranger Things.
We'll talk about that, yeah, but man.
It's got me wanting to play D&D.
This movie, I've never played that.
Long enough to play
just a little bit. Anyway, go ahead.
But yeah, he's okay. I mean, he interacts well with every character in this movie. They didn't miscast him. Everybody's like, "Oh, we need Ron Perlman back." I mean, I like Ron Perlman, but I mean, David Harbour did just as good a job.
Yeah,
I think.
I think he did for what he was given.
What he was given.
What about Ian McShane?
Ian McShane was miscast. He was not Broom. He just felt like that leader, that stereotypical leader. They didn't make him have any layers.
He was too hard ass, man.
He was a hard ass for no reason. It didn't feel like he had a parental relationship with Hellboy.
It felt like
they call each other dad.
It was more.
It
was more warm in the Del Toro film.
Yeah, you can feel it. You felt it. Plus, when he died, you feel something for it. And like they kill him like needlessly in this movie.
I think Ian McShane would be a fine young Broom.
Yeah,
but not an older Broom. No,
not at all. No. And you get
if you want to keep Broom around for 2 or 3 movies, keep him around. But they didn't keep him around.
Why not?
They should have. And I would have been a little bit more forgiving of the character because he has room to grow.
Right.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have that.
They didn't give him anything to work with.
And the other thing is much. And here's the thing: is like their relationship at this point. And I know Ron Perlman was not the happiest with Broom in the Del Toro Hellboy movie, right? And it's something that in the movie Mignola realized, like, I never really got to elaborate on this in the comics, because in the comic books Broom dies very quick, right? But you get the sense that there was this relationship there, and over time, through miniseries and past stories and short stories, they revealed a lot of that history.
Yeah, one of my favorite ones actually is like one of the little, kind of shorter stories about young Hellboy when he was a kid.
Pancakes.
The pancakes one. Yeah, he's like, I don't like pancakes, and then like he manages to like tricks him into eating them. He's like,
why no pancake
I love
reference? Yeah, he loves them. Yeah, and they reference that in the Del Toro film.
Oh, they did?
Because he sits there and he even goes, because the dude who's the agent in charge of him that winds up dying with the plugs.
Yeah.
He's bringing him pancakes. Oh. And he goes, "Where'd you get this job shoveling pancakes?" Because in the comic books, he's always mispronounced it, pancakes. Right? So I just feel like Neil Marshall, who did The Descent, a couple other little horror movies, then he went into doing things like Game of Thrones, Westworld, successful TV shows, but being a successful TV show director, and let us go ahead and tell you that we are not TV show directors or film directors at all, right? No. We're just schlubs that sit in the studio and talk about movies. But it seems to me that like doing episodic television is a whole lot different than creating a whole movie. You're already dealing with another vision. Right. You got a set out plan in the TV show, and you're dealing with directing a chapter in this ongoing story. Right. With Hellboy, this is Neil Marshall, not Nick Marshall. Neil Marshall's vision. And it fails to me because the only vision I see of Hellboy in this film is that it's so R-rated. We're gonna cuss at every moment we can and show so much gore, but all the gore is CG and it's just generic. Bad. It's like the first couple Resident Evil games, the first couple Silent Hill games blow this out of the park. Speaking of blowing things out of the park, Brooks has a mighty swing when he gets behind the home plate, does he not? Only when he's behind, not in the batter's box, but only when he's directly behind home plate. The only swing is this one that you have, right? It's because Brooks trained for many years, decades even, on the treadmill with a sword. Remember that? Coming down like this?
The straight chain.
Why not?
Why not?
Why not? Let's go ahead and say it. Brooks, what did you think about David Harbour in the role as Hellboy?
I thought he did good, considering, he had the kind of grumpy crankiness of Hellboy.
Yeah.
And
he's a blue-collar monster hunter.
Yeah, he's just a average guy when it comes down to it. He's just he drinks his sorrows away after his buddy dies.
Yes.
They
did that before. Yeah.
Yeah. And he gets along with everybody pretty well. Even the Osiris guys before they're about to hunt him.
Yeah.
He's kind of
got a nice little. Even though he didn't want to be there.
He didn't want to be there, but he still wants to help.
And I appreciated. That was one of my favorite whole scenes was the Wild Hunt. Yeah. Actually, that's my highlight point of the film. Is that scene, because I really like the battle with the giants, and I really like the absurdity of it. It's big and it's fun, and I like that this movie knows that it's absurd.
Yeah.
This movie knows that it's boisterous. This movie knows that it's balls to the wall crazy. But just because you know that you're being ridiculous doesn't mean that you being ridiculous doesn't come across as ridiculous, to me, terrible. Right? What do you think about Ian McShane as Broom?
I didn't have much of a problem, but he is. He has a lot different of a character than I'm used to.
And I don't mind the change, but
and the comics.
I don't mind the change. I would just like to see that version of the character grow a little bit with Hellboy.
Yeah.
Because I don't understand why
Hellboy. At least learn more about his backstory.
Hellboy is like 70 years old at this point, and he's acting like a petulant teenager.
Yeah. Well, technically, he's still a teenager.
I guess.
Every time they're talking, Hellboy's always feels like he's put out. Like he's embarrassed.
But they do that so much better in the Perlman Del Toro film for me. Yeah. In this movie, I just can't.
There's no feeling in this movie.
I don't want to compare it to the Del Toro movie, but if I don't, I actually like it even less.
Yeah.
Because as a movie, it just doesn't work.
It's not paced well. It doesn't. The X, I don't know when X will begin or end. It's just. Stuff happens.
They do a little false Act 2 ending there.
Yeah,
but it still has a typical act structure. But then when you really think about it, throughout the whole movie, they're like, "What's going on with this dude with the scar?" Daniel Day
Kim.
Yeah, from Lost and Hawaii 5.
Yeah, Hawaii 5.0.
5.0.
Hawaii
5.0.
5.0. The 5th iteration of Hawaii. Anyway, by Windows. But so. He's got this cast, and what's her name that plays the little...
Sasha Lane.
Sasha, and I like that
She was in a movie called American Honey.
Okay, I've never seen it.
It was good. It was
I liked her. They both did good in their roles. Right. But for instance, Daniel Day Kim's character, they're like, what's going on with him?
What's with that skull?
But the first trailers show us that he's a werecat.
First one.
And the very literal last scene you see in this movie, aside from post-credit scenes that we didn't even know were coming...
We did not watch.
Didn't even want to see.
Didn't watch them.
Aside from that, like they show that last scene in those first trailers, man, and it's like nothing is left to the imagination.
Nothing.
Right? Let's talk about Mila Jovovich as the Blood Queen, the big villain. Wasted, cliche. It makes. We talked last week about Shazam. She makes Shazam's villain seem very well-rounded and fleshed out. What do you think about Jovovich as the Blood Queen?
Well, I was disappointed because I kind of thought they were going to do a twist with her where it turns out like she wasn't the villain all along. Like the other witch was the villain,
Yeah.
Maybe
Baba Yaga.
Or her or the one who betrayed her with King
I got you.
I figured they might do a twist like that, but they didn't.
Why not lean heavily into the King Arthur stuff if you're going to do it?
Yeah.
They took the apex pinnacle climax of the entire 25 plus years saga of Hellboy by Mike Mignola. They took that and just made it a nothing plot point in this film to me. What do you think about that? Elaborate.
Yeah. It just wasn't...
What do you think about the pig dude?
I thought he was alright, at times.
Too much F-bombs.
Yeah, he's very coarse.
Yeah.
But it makes sense.
It makes sense, but it's just... It could have been done so much better.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, but I liked. There were a lot of things I did like about this movie.
Yeah,
but it doesn't work as well, as the previous Hellboy movies did.
Yeah,
it's like something's missing, It's like you have the pieces, but they're just not put together right.
I think Guillermo del Toro was missing.
Right.
Really, honestly. I even think Ian McShane would not be miscast if Del Toro did this.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking smack about Neil Marshall. I'm not the biggest Descent fan. He did other movies that I remember. I can't remember what they are right now. His first movie was something. God. Anyway.
I never watched him.
What do you think, Jelani, about Mila Jovovich as the Blood Queen?
She's very generic. Mila Jovovich is a great actress. Do not get me wrong. And me saying that after watching the Resident Evil movies, she has.
I think her best role is still Dazed and Confused.
Yeah, she's pretty good in that. And Fifth Element for me, I love Lulu. But
yeah, Fifth Element, that's dope.
She's very generic in this movie. She's not a terrible British accent. It breaks through. It looks like she's trying too hard in this movie, and at the same time sleeping through it.
Yeah,
and it doesn't feel right. I really liked how they did do the interplay with Hellboy, where it did look like she may have been a good character or a good person.
They camp her up very early on.
Yeah, really, just hammy.
That opening prelude is pretty bad. Yeah. And then, but at least Patrick Wilson with Ocean Master knew what he was doing, and he leaned into it. He goes, if I'm just going to be this scene-chewing, cheesy-ass villain, I'm just going to be that. Mila Jovovich seemed like just Sylvana last week. We were talking about Mark Strong.
Yeah, monologuing.
We don't care. It was done so cheesy, man. I never felt the threat. I never felt the importance of that. And it was something that whole thing about them getting all the different pieces and stuff when they did that in the Hellboy comic book, it is so good. It's so atmospheric. It's so great. But it feels like the director and other filmmakers just did not understand.
Let's just put a movie out and have swear bombs.
Yeah,
and just
Hellboy's a horror film, so people like gore.
Let's gore and blood and nonsense, and it's not. It's too messy. Like, if you started... the beginning of this movie starts with, like, a great... Well, it's not even a great... It's not a great opening. It could have been a great opening. Ian McShane explaining the story of how Arthur betrays Mordray, which is Mila Jovovich.
Because you're getting deep into the mythology.
Into the story, and you should be okay with this, but it's shot poorly. The color palette for that whole scene was terrible for me. It was black and white, but it had
the
color
red.
And reds in
it.
Schindler's
listed it.
But it's not... It didn't look like it... I don't know. It looked like a stage play, but not a good stage play.
It was like, when that first started, I was like, oh, they're about to homage to, like, the Universal Monster movie.
Yeah.
And I'm cool with that.
They should have.
But it just didn't come across.
Not at all.
Didn't work. And that opening was so cheesy. But then the movie got a little bit good. But like you were saying, it gets clunky.
It's
in the pacing. It goes up and down with that pace. It gets really fast and fun and funny. And then it gets kind of slow and humorous, like slow and serious, and then like gore, but CG gore that like Mario's got better gore.
Yeah.
When he gets hit by a shell in the nose. Anyway.
It kind of reminded me of Van Helsing in a way.
Oh God!
I think Van Helsing. I thought about that when this movie. I thought about that, right? But I was actually thinking about that today. This so crazy you mentioned that.
The nose.
I was thinking about that. I think Van Helsing's better than this movie. I really do.
And I said a lot.
By a half of you dig.
Oh my gosh.
But it has that same feel to it.
Yeah, it does kind of.
Yeah. But at least you can tell in Van Helsing, even though it's misplaced, there's misplaced love. I feel like Neil Marshall and company have no love or understanding of Hellboy in this film to me.
No, they don't. They're just making a check. Everybody here is here to get a check.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
And that's fine.
By all means, get paid. We helped you out. But
oh gosh.
I would definitely say the only reason to watch this movie is if you really want to support creator-owned cinematic films. I love Mike Mignola. I do, and that's why I watched this movie. And if they did a sequel, which they set up with the Ape Sapien stuff, and the Lobster Johnson stuff, and the Baba Yaga stuff. By the way, why is Baba Yaga just this weird CG creature? Like, are you serious?
She was terrible.
Just give me Angelica Houston with an eye patch and a fucking little
don't make it difficult.
Bowl or something. I'm cool with it.
Spider walk.
I'm cool with it. I don't need a spider walk.
Apparently,
where did that come from? Where did that come from?
I don't know.
The spider walk all comes. By the way, I'm just gonna let this out. The spider walk stuff all comes from that goddamn remake of The Exorcist.
Yeah, but it was extra footage.
But it wasn't good. That's why they cut it out of the film. It looks so stupid. It looks so stupid. Anyway.
It does.
Anyway.
Well,
do you know who really knows how to do a spider walk? Spiders. Fucking spiders. Anyway.
And Bray Wyatt.
We're getting into it.
That's
One word to describe this movie. This is a new thing we're doing here for movie reviews. One word to describe this movie, Jelani. One word.
Waste. It is a waste of
talent.
It's a waste of a script.
It's a waste of a property.
It's worse of everything. Everyone should be ashamed.
We're like 6 years, 7, 8 years now back from a new Hellboy movie because of this.
We're gonna
right.
Well, we'll see.
Hopefully they'll get David Harbour back.
I'd like to see that.
I'd like
I really would
see him as Hellboy again. If this movie tanks, which hopefully it's not going to be.
Seems like it's doing.
I hope so. But at the same time, I need David Harbour to be Hellboy again. If you're not going to have Ron Perlman,
yeah, please actually
go
watch this movie so they do a sequel. Maybe it'll be better.
Yeah, maybe.
Brooks, one word to describe this movie.
Average.
Okay.
It's just like. It's just a middle of the road movie to me, you know.
Yeah.
Not something I'd like, you know. I'd think to rewatch, but you know, not something that if someone had it on, I would, you know, not watch it.
Yeah. To me, the one word is overindulgent.
Yeah.
Because you already have a very irreverent character by the fact that he's Hellboy.
Yeah.
Right? And then you're like, let's throw in a bunch of cussing and F-bombs, bro.
Because we're cool.
Yeah. Let's throw some gore in there and have them split some people apart and have blood and guts and all that kind of stuff, right? Let's just do it up. It's overindulgent. This is seriously like Bill and Ted made a movie.
Yeah.
Which I'm not cool with. I want Bill and Ted to make music, not movies. That being said, the music...
Wild Stallions Productions.
The music that was actually in the film that was scored... The scored music was good, but misused. And then the soundtrack that was used... Hey, bro, let's put some Motley Crue in this movie, man. Yeah.
Let's not say we did.
Though they did put my favorite Motley Crue song in there, "Kickstart My Heart." That's a really... That song's a great song to drive through.
You know, they made like, there's like a Netflix movie on Motley Crue called The Dirt or something like that.
Is it? Is that about Motley Crue?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
That's the Motley Crue one, yeah.
So Netflix, we do ya digs here. That's how we rate films. Out of 5 possible ya digs, Jelani, what do you give this film?
It gets... I'll give it 2.
2
ya digs.
2 ya digs. Pretty low. Bad movie.
Low. It's a bad movie. It's terrible. I will not watch it again. But 1 ya dig for David Harbour.
Okay.
And 1 ya dig for his costume.
Okay.
He looked great. He sounded great. He was Hellboy, and it's just a shame that he never got a really good chance to be the Hellboy that he should be in a proper film. If Guillermo del Toro had David Harbour, and even Shane, like you said before,
take the same plot, X out the origin again.
Yeah.
And just make the next Hellboy
make a Hellboy movie and make a damn good one, because you didn't do it with this one. I'm giving it 2, and I'm being generous. I mean, yeah, support independent comic book writers and creators.
Just go see it on Blu-ray, the Del Toro ones, and then buy Mystery Men. Check that one out too.
Yeah, Mystery Men's okay. It's better than this movie.
All right, Brooks. Out of 5 possible ya digs, what do you rate this film?
I give it 3.
3. That's pretty low for you.
Yeah.
That's average.
Yeah. And you know, like I said, that's what this movie is to me. It's just an average movie. It's not too good. It's not too bad. It's just
middle of the road.
Middle of the road. A little bland, I guess. But,
yeah.
You know.
Needed some spice.
Yeah.
And for a Hellboy film, you would expect a lot of spice.
Yeah.
But it had the wrong spice. It was like, whoa, dude.
Right.
You would put way too much garlic in that damn spaghetti. Take this back to the kitchen. I want it cooked again. Right? For me, I'm right there with Jelani. 2 ya digs. 2 ya digs. I give it 1 ya dig for Mike Mignola creating Hellboy.
Okay.
2 ya digs for David Harbour as Hellboy. Everything else about this film, forgettable. Just done. Just done.
Everything.
I'm ready for...
It was like a sci-fi movie.
I know this would never happen, but screw this. Instead of doing a sequel in 2 or 3 years, do that 3rd Del Toro Hellboy film.
Just do it.
Just do that. Okay. So 2 ya digs, 2 ya digs, 3 ya digs for an average of 3.397755431. I like how it counted down there.
We don't do math here.
We never do math here. Anyway, what do you rate Hellboy? How many you digs out of 5 do you give it? Let us know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for checking out the video. We'll be here next week for our Bloodsport movie review, the audience choice. And if you want to get in on the next audience choice poll for what movie we review here, get to the PCP Army on Facebook, the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group, the PCP Army. And after that, we got Avengers Endgame.
Yeah! Yeah!
Very exciting stuff. So I've been Rockin Robbie Billups. This is
Jelani Bullard.
This is
Brooks.
Please do like, share, and subscribe for more of these videos if you like them. And do join us, like I said, over at the PCP Army. And don't forget to check out popculturephilosophers.com for podcasts and a whole lot more. Thanks for rocking with us. Thanks for checking out our videos. You dig?